Charlotte stepped off the plane with a mix of excitement and trepidation. After spending several years in France, her failing health had led her to return to the United States, seeking the comfort of family. Her heart swelled with anticipation as she thought about reuniting with her son, Justin, and his wife, Deborah. However, as she approached their home, the warmth of anticipation turned into a chill of unease. The once familiar surroundings felt foreign, and she couldn't shake the feeling that something was amiss. As she rang the doorbell, Justin opened the door, but his greeting lacked the warmth she expected. "Hey, Mom," he muttered, avoiding eye contact. "Justin, darling, it's so good to see you," Charlotte exclaimed, attempting to hug him. But the embrace was stiff, lacking the usual warmth of a son welcoming his mother. Deborah appeared in the doorway, a forced smile on her face. "Charlotte, welcome back. We weren't expecting you so soon," she said, glancing at Justin. "I missed you both so much." "It's been too long," Charlotte replied, her excitement fading as she sensed an underlying tension. Justin shifted uncomfortably. "Yeah, it has. Listen, Mom, we need to talk." Confused, Charlotte followed them into the living room. The atmosphere was strained, and she couldn't help but feel like an intruder in her own son's home. Deborah spoke hesitantly. "Charlotte, we appreciate you coming back, but things have changed since you left. We have our own routine now." Justin added, "Yeah, Mom, we're both working, and things are a bit tight. You can't stay for too long, okay?" Charlotte felt a lump forming in her throat. "I understand, Justin. I don't want to be a burden. I just thought we could spend some time together." Deborah's forced smile wavered. "Of course, we can spend some time. But we have our own lives, you know." The words hung in the air, and Charlotte couldn't shake the feeling that her arrival was an inconvenience rather than a cause for celebration. The once familiar haven of family now felt like an unwelcome place, leaving Charlotte questioning the nature of her homecoming. Despite the awkwardness of her welcome, Charlotte tried to settle into Justin and Deborah's home. She unpacked her bags, transforming the guest room into a temporary sanctuary. However, the tension in the air lingered, casting a shadow over what should have been a joyous reunion. One evening, after a silent dinner, Charlotte decided to address the palpable discomfort. She found Justin and Deborah in the living room, each engrossed in their own activities. "Can we talk?" Charlotte asked tentatively, her eyes shifting between them. Justin looked up from his laptop, sighing. "Sure, Mom. What's on your mind?" Charlotte hesitated, choosing her words carefully. "I can feel that my presence here is causing some tension. I want you both to know that I don't want to disrupt your lives. I'm here because I thought we could reconnect." Deborah glanced at Justin, exchanging a quick, uncertain look. "Look, Charlotte," she began cautiously, "we appreciate you being here, but things have changed since you left. We've gotten used to our routine." Justin added, "Yeah, and it's not easy having someone else in the house. We both work, and it's just different now." A pang of disappointment struck Charlotte's heart. "I understand that, and I appreciate your honesty. I don't want to be a burden, but I hoped we could find a way to make this work. I miss being a part of your lives." Deborah softened slightly, realizing the impact of their words. "It's not that we don't want you here, Charlotte. It's just an adjustment. Maybe we can figure something out." Justin nodded. "Yeah, we'll try, Mom. But you need to understand our situation too." The conversation ended on an uneasy note, and Charlotte retreated to her room, feeling a sense of isolation. The house, once a place of familial warmth, now felt cold and distant. As days passed, she observed the subtle avoidance in their interactions, the unspoken divide growing with each passing moment. The unspoken tension reached its peak during a family dinner when Justin's phone rang. As he excused himself to take the call, Charlotte exchanged a worried glance with Deborah. The hushed conversation only heightened the sense of unease, leaving Charlotte to wonder how her presence had become such a disruption in their lives. As the days went by, Charlotte couldn't shake the feeling of being a burden on Justin and Deborah. One afternoon, as she sat in the living room, Justin approached, his face etched with a furrowed brow. "Mom," Justin began cautiously, "we need to talk about something important." Charlotte's heart sank as she nodded, sensing the weight of the impending conversation. "Of course, Justin. What's on your mind?" Justin took a deep breath before speaking. "I was going through some papers, and I happened to see your financial statements. Mom, your savings, they're not enough. Did something happen while you were in France?" Charlotte hesitated, unsure of how much to reveal. "Well, dear, the cost of living in France was higher than I anticipated. Medical expenses, daily needs, everything added up." Justin's eyes widened. "But you were living comfortably there, right? I thought you had it all figured out." Charlotte sighed. "I did, at least for a while. But health issues arose, and I had to return. I thought staying with you would be a temporary solution until I got back on my feet." Justin's expression shifted from concern to frustration. "Mom, we're already struggling to make ends meet. How can we support you financially? Did you have a plan?" Charlotte felt a pang of guilt. "I had hoped to help, not become another burden. In fact, I was planning to give you both a check, a gesture of gratitude for letting me stay." Justin's frustration deepened. "A check? Mom, we don't need handouts. We need stability. You can't just throw money at our problems." Charlotte tried to explain. "It was meant to be a way to alleviate your financial stress. I had saved up over the years for such moments." Justin ran a hand through his hair, visibly stressed. "I appreciate the thought, Mom, but we can't rely on sporadic gestures. We need a long-term solution." The conversation hung in the air, a tense silence settling between them. Charlotte felt a growing distance, realizing that her attempt to alleviate their struggles had only intensified the financial strain on her son and his wife. As the weight of the situation sank in, she wondered how her genuine intentions had led to such unintended consequences. The atmosphere in the house became increasingly strained after the revelation of Charlotte's financial situation. The once hoped-for family reunion now felt like a series of missteps, each action intensifying the tension between Charlotte, Justin, and Deborah. One evening, Charlotte decided to share her intention of presenting a significant check with her son. She found Justin in the kitchen, his brow furrowed as he sifted through bills. "Justin, can we talk for a moment?" Charlotte asked, her voice laced with concern. Justin looked up, his expression tired. "Sure, Mom. What's on your mind now?" Charlotte hesitated, choosing her words carefully. "I've been thinking about our situation, and I wanted to do something to help. I was planning to give you both a check, a token of my gratitude for letting me stay." Justin's eyes narrowed, and he sighed. "Another check? Mom, we talked about this. We can't rely on sporadic gestures. We need a stable solution." Charlotte nodded, her heart heavy. "I understand, Justin, but I thought this could at least provide some relief. I saved up for moments like these." Justin ran a hand through his hair, frustration evident in his voice. "Mom, we appreciate the thought, but it's not about the money. We need a long-term plan, not a one-time handout." Undeterred, Charlotte continued, "I had hoped it would make things easier for you, take off some of the financial burden. I don't want to be a source of stress for you both." Justin's tone softened slightly. "Mom, it's not about you being a source of stress. We just need stability. A check won't fix everything. Feeling the growing divide between them, Charlotte nodded. I understand, Justin. I just wanted to help, but if it's causing more harm than good, maybe it's time for me to reconsider. As Charlotte left the kitchen, the weight of her words lingered in the air. Unbeknownst to her, Justin shared the news with Deborah, deepening the cracks in their already strained relationship. The unintended check, meant as a gesture of goodwill, had become a catalyst for further discord in the household, leaving Charlotte questioning the impact of her actions on the fragile family dynamics. The household tensions reached a boiling point when a seemingly ordinary evening took an unexpected turn. As the family gathered for dinner, the atmosphere was thick with unspoken words and lingering resentment. Unbeknownst to Charlotte, the events that followed would shatter the fragile facade of stability that remained. Amidst the strained silence, Justin's phone rang, disrupting the uneasy calm. He excused himself from the table to answer the call, leaving Charlotte and Deborah exchanging wary glances. Curiosity got the better of Charlotte as she strained to listen, and her unease deepened when she caught snippets of Justin's hushed conversation. The lines between personal and private were blurred, and a sense of impending doom settled over the dinner table. When Justin returned, his face was pale, and he avoided making eye contact with either woman. Deborah, sensing the gravity of the situation, spoke up cautiously. "Justin, is everything okay? You look troubled." Justin sighed, a heavy burden on his shoulders. "We need to talk," he said, leading the family to the living room where an uncomfortable conversation unfolded. "I received a voice message," Justin began, his voice strained. "Deborah, it was from your phone." "I don't understand why." Deborah interrupted, her eyes darting nervously between Justin and Charlotte. "Justin, I can explain. It's not what you think." Justin played the recorded message, and the room fell silent as the revelation of Deborah's affair hung heavily in the air. The shock on Justin's face mirrored Charlotte's disbelief, both processing the unexpected turn of events. Charlotte, breaking the silence, spoke with a mix of concern and disappointment. "Deborah, is this true? How did things come to this point?" Deborah, on the verge of tears, struggled to find the right words. "It's complicated, Charlotte. Justin and I have been facing challenges, and I sought comfort elsewhere. I never meant for it to go this far." The tension in the room escalated, with accusations and hurtful words exchanged among the family members. The revelation of Deborah's affair became a focal point, overshadowing the initial issues that had brought Charlotte back to the U.S. The fractures in the family deepened, leaving them grappling with the fallout of the revelations, and the once stable facade crumbled under the weight of their collective secrets. In the aftermath of Deborah's affair being exposed, the household was engulfed in a tense silence. Charlotte retreated to the guest room, grappling with a whirlwind of emotions and memories. As she sat alone, the past unfolded before her eyes. Flashbacks of Justin's childhood, the challenges of raising him as a single mother, and the sacrifices she had made to provide a stable life for him flooded her thoughts. The echoes of laughter, the shared struggles, and the warmth of their bond seemed distant and fragile in the face of the present turmoil. Justin knocked softly on the door, cautiously entering the room. "Mom, can we talk?" he asked, his voice carrying a mixture of regret and uncertainty. Charlotte nodded, inviting him to sit beside her on the bed. "Of course, Justin. What's on your mind?" Justin sighed, the weight of the recent revelations evident in his eyes. "I never knew things were this complicated, Mom. I thought we had a stable family, but it feels like everything is falling apart." Charlotte placed a comforting hand on his shoulder. "Life is full of unexpected twists, Justin. Our journey together has had its challenges, but it's important to face them honestly and find a way forward. What happened between you and Deborah is painful, but it's also an opportunity to address the underlying issues." Justin looked down, guilt and frustration etched on his face. "I didn't expect any of this when you came back. I thought it would be a chance to reconnect, but it's become a mess." Charlotte smiled gently. "Life has a way of throwing challenges at us when we least expect it. We may not have control over everything, but we can choose how we respond. It's never too late to heal and rebuild." As Justin pondered his mother's words, Deborah entered the room tentatively. "Charlotte, can we talk?" she asked, her eyes filled with remorse. Charlotte nodded. "Sit down, Deborah. We're all a part of this, and we need to find a way to move forward." Deborah took a seat, her hands fidgeting nervously. "I messed up, Charlotte. I never meant for any of this to happen. Justin and I have lost sight of what's important, and it's tearing us apart." Charlotte, maintaining her calm demeanor, responded, "Life is filled with mistakes, Deborah. What matters now is how we learn from them and grow. We're a family, and families support each other through thick and thin." As the trio embarked on a challenging conversation, Charlotte couldn't help but reflect on the resilience of familial bonds. Despite the fractures and revelations, a glimmer of hope remained, the possibility of healing and rebuilding what had been broken. The journey ahead would be difficult, but Charlotte was determined to guide her family toward a path of understanding, forgiveness, and ultimately, redemption. In the wake of the revelations and candid discussions, the household was left with a lingering sense of turmoil. Charlotte, Justin, and Deborah navigated through the days, each marked by strained interactions and unspoken tension. The once strong bonds of family now felt fragile and burdened by the weight of their collective struggles. One evening, as they attempted to share a family dinner, the strained atmosphere was palpable. The silence between bites spoke louder than words, and the shared memories of warmth and laughter seemed distant. Sitting at the dining table, Charlotte finally broke the quiet, her voice filled with a mix of vulnerability and determination. "We can't continue like this. We need to find a way to move forward, to mend what's broken." Justin sighed, his gaze fixed on his plate. "I don't even know where to start, Mom. Everything seems so messed up now." Deborah, glancing between them, added, "I agree. But we can't just sweep everything under the rug. We need to confront our issues, no matter how difficult it may be." Charlotte nodded, her eyes reflecting a mix of sadness and hope. "It won't be easy, but we owe it to ourselves to try. We're family, and family means facing the challenges together." As the conversation continued, old wounds were revisited and grievances were aired. Charlotte shared her perspective as a single mother, expressing the challenges she faced, and Justin and Deborah spoke about the strains on their marriage that led to the affair. The honesty in the room was painful, but it was also a necessary step toward understanding. In the midst of the difficult conversation, Justin looked at his mother and said, "I never realized how much you sacrificed for me, Mom. I took it for granted, and I'm sorry." Charlotte, feeling a sense of acknowledgement, responded, "It's never too late to understand and appreciate each other. We can use this difficult time as an opportunity to rebuild and strengthen our bonds." Deborah, tears in her eyes, admitted, "I never thought I'd find myself in this situation. I want to make amends, not just for us, but for the family we were meant to be." As they continued to unpack their emotions and confront the painful truths, a subtle shift occurred. The burdened bonds that seemed on the verge of breaking started to show signs of resilience. Though the scars of their shared experiences were deep, the family began to realize that facing their challenges together might be the key to rebuilding what had been lost. As the night drew to a close, they decided to seek professional help to navigate the complexities of their relationships. The journey toward healing was far from over, but the commitment to rebuilding the bonds that had been burdened by secrets and misunderstandings ignited a spark of hope in the hearts of Charlotte, Justin, and Deborah. The road ahead would be challenging, but it was a journey they were now willing to embark on together. In the days that followed the difficult family dinner, a subtle transformation began to take place within the household. The decision to seek professional help became a beacon of hope, and the family started attending therapy sessions together. As they navigated the tumultuous waters of healing, connections that had once seemed irreparably strained started to resurface. One evening, after a particularly emotional therapy session, the family found themselves in the living room, surrounded by the remnants of shared tears and shared vulnerability. Charlotte, Justin, and Deborah sat together, the weight of their shared experiences lingering in the air. Charlotte spoke first, her voice filled with a mix of gratitude and optimism. "I never imagined we would find ourselves in this situation, but seeking help is the first step toward healing." Justin nodded, a newfound understanding in his eyes. "I've been blind to a lot of things, Mom. Your sacrifices, the strain on our family. It took a toll on all of us." Deborah, her gaze softened, added, "And I never thought I'd stray from the person I love. But facing these issues head on is helping me see the damage I've caused and the work we all need to do." The therapist had encouraged open communication, and the family began to share their feelings, regrets, and hopes for the future. As they peeled away the layers of hurt and misunderstandings, the genuine desire to rebuild their connections emerged. "I want to understand you better, Mom," Justin admitted. "I want to know about your life in France, the challenges you faced, and why you decided to come back." Charlotte smiled, appreciating the willingness to connect. "I moved to France for a fresh start after your father passed away. I needed a change, but health issues brought me back. I didn't expect the impact it would have on all of us." Deborah, encouraged by the openness, chimed in, "And I want to understand how we got to this point in our marriage. I want to rebuild the trust we've lost." The therapist's guidance provided a framework for these conversations, allowing the family to explore their feelings without judgment. As they delved into the complexities of their relationships, they began to find common ground and shared goals. Days turned into weeks, and the resurfacing connections became more apparent. Shared laughter replaced tense silences, and small gestures of support replaced guarded interactions. The family, once burdened by secrets and regrets, was learning to redefine their bonds. One evening, as they sat down for dinner, Charlotte proposed a toast to rebuilding, understanding, and the strength of family bonds. The clinking of glasses echoed in the room, symbolizing a newfound commitment to the journey they had embarked on. The road ahead remained uncertain, but the resurfacing connections provided a glimmer of hope, a reminder that, with effort and understanding, even the most strained relationships could find a path to redemption. As the therapy sessions continued, the family began to witness the gradual emergence of a new chapter in their lives. The wounds were healing, and the once fractured bonds were starting to solidify into something stronger. Charlotte, Justin, and Deborah found themselves at a crossroads where the choice to embrace change and growth became paramount. One weekend, they decided to spend quality time together, away from the weight of their past grievances. Charlotte suggested a visit to a nearby park, a place filled with fond memories from Justin's childhood. The air was charged with anticipation as they strolled along the paths, surrounded by the vibrant hues of nature. Justin, breaking the silence, turned to Charlotte. "Mom, I've been thinking a lot about your time in France. I want to hear more about it, the good and the bad." Charlotte smiled, appreciating the genuine interest. France was a mix of beauty and challenges. The culture, the people, I fell in love with it. But health issues forced me to return, and I didn't anticipate the impact it would have on all of us. Deborah, walking beside them, interjected, "And I've been reflecting on my actions, on what led me to seek comfort outside our marriage. I want to move forward and rebuild, not just for us, but for the family we can be." The sincerity in Deborah's voice resonated with both Charlotte and Justin. They continued to share their thoughts and aspirations, each step in the park symbolizing a stride toward a new beginning. As they reached a serene spot by a pond, Justin spoke, "I've taken for granted the sacrifices you made, Mom. I want to understand you better and appreciate what you've done for our family." Charlotte, touched by her son's acknowledgement, replied, "Understanding each other is the key to rebuilding. I want to move forward with open hearts and create a new chapter for our family." The pond became a metaphor for reflection, its calm waters mirroring the internal changes occurring within each family member. The journey they had undertaken was challenging, but it had led them to a place of understanding and acceptance. In the days that followed, they continued attending therapy, but with a newfound sense of purpose. Conversations at home became more open, honest, and filled with empathy. The once burdened bonds were now evolving into connections strengthened by shared experiences and a commitment to growth. One evening, gathered around the dinner table, Deborah proposed a toast to new beginnings, to understanding, and to the strength we found in each other. As glasses clinked, the resonance echoed not just in the room, but in the hearts of Charlotte, Justin, and Deborah. The journey toward a new beginning was ongoing, but the foundation for a healthier, more resilient family had been laid. The road ahead might still be uncertain, but they were now equipped with the tools and determination to face whatever challenges lay ahead.